I was born on a Tuesday, not the kind that brings fanfare or fireworks, just a quiet day, somewhere between rain and sunshine. My mother said the light was soft that morning, like it was holding its breath. Maybe it was. Maybe everyone was, because when I arrived, no arms, no legs, the room filled with something heavier than silence. It filled with air. I didn't cry much. I think I was listening to the shift in the room, to the hope that cracked like glass, to the way love tried to wrap itself around fear. My father couldn't hold me. My grandma called for prayers. And my mother looked at me like she was trying to memorize the face of a dream she never asked for. For a long time, I thought I was the silence. I knew I wasn't what they expected. I heard the whispers through thin walls, the polite smiles from neighbors who stopped bringing their children over. I could feel the grief they tried to hide behind routines and closed doors. Not because they didn't love me, but because they didn't know how to love me yet. They saw everything I couldn't do. Couldn't hold a spoon, couldn't sit up on my own, couldn't run or climb or draw like the other children. But they forgot what I could do. Until the day I found the charcoal. It was tucked away in a corner, possibly meant for someone who never came back for it. I didn't think it was left for me, but they found me anyway. I don't have hands, but I have will. I gripped the charcoal with my shoulder, chin, and then teeth. Leaned hard into the board and drew. My grandma grained the charcoal and created a pencil-like stick object for me to use. Wobbly lines at first, then shapes, then stories. Charcoal is raw, messy. It smudges easily like memories, but it also leaves bold marks, deep ones, the kind you can't ignore. I drew a girl's face. I drew a house with no roof, but warm light spilling from the windows. I drew multiple faces with different expressions and different stories to tell. My mother found my board one afternoon, and this time when she cried, it wasn't grief. That's when my family started to see me. Not the girl with missing limbs, but the girl who left messages in charcoal. But the biggest change didn't come from my drawings, it came from my voice. See, for many years, I barely spoke. I thought maybe my silence was what made things easier for everyone. But the more I drew, the more I realized I had something to say. So one day, during a community gathering, I asked for the mic. People looked confused. A few looked worried. But they handed it to me anyway. My voice shook, my breath trembled, but my words were clear. I was not given limbs, but I was given life. And I chose to live it fully. Gasps! Then silence. Then something broke open. In the room. In them. In me. After that, I spoke often. To the children who felt invisible. To parents who didn't know how to hope. To leaders who forgot that strength doesn't always look like power. Sometimes it looks like persistence. They began to call me the girl who speaks fire. And sometimes Little Lioness. Now there's a mural in the center of our village, drawn from my design, smudged with real charcoal. It shows a child with no limbs, but wings that stretch across the sky. They say it looks like me, and maybe it does. I still can't walk, but I have taught the village how to move forward. I still can't hold, but I have embraced more hearts than I can count. I still can't run, but I have flown further than anyone ever thought I could. My name is Amara, once a shadow, now a voice. And every time I draw or speak, I am reminded I may not have feathers, but these wings were always mine.